So it's Holy Week, and I wanted to share with you a little bit about what I have been thinking on the last couple of days. And I had come across this passage of Luke 22 where Jesus has just observed the Passover meal with the disciples. He's just explained to them that he's about ready to go to suffer, that he won't be eating with them again until the kingdom is fulfilled, and they all partake in communion, the very first communion together. And so we're on this spiritual high, and then we get to Luke 22, verse 24, and through 29. Then a dispute also arose among them about who should be considered the greatest. But he said to them, "The kings of the Gentiles dominate them, and those who have authority over them are called benefactors. But it must not be like that among you. On the contrary, whoever is greatest among you must become like the least, and whoever leads like the one serving. For who is greater, the one at the table or the one serving? Isn't it the one at the table? But I am among you as the one who serves. You are the ones who stood by me in my trials. I bestow on you a kingdom just as my Father bestowed one on me." So we're on that spiritual high of the Passover meal. And how do we find the disciples? Arguing. And not really arguing, maybe righteously. No, they're arguing about which one of them is the best, which one is the greatest. And well, I think it's easy to see the immaturity of the disciples and their lack of understanding. I mean, these are the last quiet moments they're going to have with Jesus before his arrest. So it's easy to see that they aren't fully grasping or comprehending everything that's going on around them. I think it's also pretty relatable. How many times do I not understand what's going on around me, what the Lord is trying to do, what he's trying to say, how he's trying to teach me? How many times do I get caught up arguing about trivial things, really? But I love how in the disciples' failure, in their humanness, Jesus comes to them and so tenderly and graciously points out to them that you're following the wrong example. He says, the world's example of greatness is based on power and public recognition, but his example is one of service and humility. And then not only that, he goes on to commend the disciples, of telling to them, you are the ones who stood by me in my trials. And if you go back and you read through the Gospels, so many times Jesus is having to explain himself over and over again. And he's having to remind the disciples of the things that he has done and the things that he has said. And they just don't seem to get it all the time. Again, pretty relatable for me. And so he tells them, you have stood by me, knowing that in a matter of hours, every one of them is going to forsake him. Yet he takes the time to let them know that he sees their hearts, despite their mistakes, despite their shortcomings, despite how many times they have and will fail him, that he knows that they love him. And man, I find such comfort in that, and I hope you do too, that though we fail and we stumble and we don't get it right and we don't always hear or see what the Lord is up to in our lives, that, man, he did not withhold, that he still poured himself out for us, that he is still standing and waiting, ready for us to come back to him, for us to say, okay, Lord, I got it wrong today, but I trust you and I know that you love me and that in your mercy, you accept me and you see my heart and you know that I love you. So, friends, praying for you this Holy Week that you are able to experience the Lord, the power of his resurrection in new ways. Have a great day.